Bonjour mes amis, et bienvenue en Pendu dans un Cercle de Lune. Hello friends, if this is your first time here, welcome. Thank you for coming. I'm pleased to meet you. If you've been here before, thank you for returning. I'm truly honored. Friends, if you are a returning visitor, you know from my attempt at a French introduction that this is my series in which I use Terre de Marseille adjacent, or antique Italian decks to help me get a central message or to dive deeper into the message from the video, from the spread that I do earlier in the week. Yeah, I do a spread earlier in the week that has been either Rider-Waite-Smith based or Continental Tarot based, or now I've been focusing on the Thoth Tarot. So I do a spread, and my earlier spread these days is part of my Back to Basics series, and I've got a much smaller spread than I usually do. So I'm not really saying that this is a condensed message. This actually might be an expanded message, or an expanded reading from the earlier one of this week. So friends, I've got a spread already laid out, but before we get into it, let me remind you that because this reading is a response to and is launching off of the platform of the previous reading of this week, I highly recommend you're going to go see that. So I will put a link up here for you to click on and hop on over, watch that video, and then come back to this one so that you get an understanding of where we're coming from with this reading, right? And just in case you did see that larger video, it's not that much larger, but it is a little bit longer, I believe. And you watched it in bits and you want a little bit of a refresher. The title for that video was Tightrope. Yeah? And the whole spread was very interesting. It was a conversation between two ill-dignified elements, you might even say. Yeah, there were two air cards and one earth card. The air cards were the adjustment or karma card for the significant answer to the question, how can we live our lives more intentionally in the coming week? And the next card was the challenge, which was the Princess of Air, or other words, was the Sister of Wind, according to the Tarot of the Spirit. And those two were placed next to the advice card of the Devil, which is an earth-based card, right? Because it's Capricorn, and Capricorn is an earth zodiacal sign. So we had the idea of mind and the call for precision, but also for breaking through and clearing away mental obstacles and oppression. And that it was also a little bit reiterated in the Devil card. Yeah, enjoying the physicality, breaking through obstacles, robustness, playfulness, dancing, all those wonderful things. And those were all combined in the reading. And so I asked the question for this week's spread and I laid it out. And it's really going to be interesting, I think. We've got a little bit of that tension in this week's spread as well. But instead of describing the spread first, let me just show it to you. What will I do? I will show you the spread. I will show you the question that I ask every week. What is the central message of this week's 3-card spread? And I will talk about that briefly. I'll talk about the cards briefly, and then we'll break it into 2 bits and talk about that. Okay? So friends, let me show you the whole spread. Here it is. So friends, what do you think of those decks? Now, if you're a regular visitor, you may know both of them, but you certainly would know the Oracle deck below, which is the Cercle de Lune. A beautiful Oracle deck, I think, to use with Terre de Marseille if you ever feel the urge to pair an Oracle deck with Cercle de Marseille. I know many, if not most, perhaps even almost all Tarot de Marseille readers would scoff at the notion of an oracle deck with a Tarot de Marseille deck. Why would you do that, right? So I do that. And I think one of the ones that works really nicely with Tarot de Marseille is the Cercle de Lune. And if you want to get a hold of that, I'll put a link to the French Amazon site where you can get the deck still. And you can order it internationally, no problems. The tarot deck above, this is the Rosenwald Tarot. It's a very old tarot. It's not a facsimile, it's a redrawing, and unfortunately this redrawing is out of print. It's a beautiful little deck, right? It's kind of petite. Wonderful deck, especially for those of us who have smaller hands. I am not one of them. But for those of us with smaller hands, this was a really, really nice deck to shuffle. The cardstock is beautiful, fabulous, but I'm sorry to say it is gone. But there are other ways to get the Rosenwald Tarot, and I'll put a link to another deck down there if you want it. There's a wonderful deck by Tarot Sheet Revival, but it's a little pricey and it's not colored. It's a sepia and black deck, but it's a wonderful deck as well. But I really love this deck that I used, and so that's what you're seeing. Okay, so friends, what are we going to do? Let me show you the cards from above once more. You notice there were quite a number of them, right? And we'll talk about those, and then we'll look at the oracle cards from below. Are you all ready? Here we go. So this was a really, really nice little, let me show it to you against a standard sized tarot card. So this is a tarot card, standard size. This is the Rosenwald Tarot. Very, very nice. It's almost like a Lenormand deck. Yeah? Almost. It's a Lenormand card deck would be a little bit smaller, but very nice. And Marco Benedetti does such wonderful work. And I'm sorry, it was on Make Playing Cards and now it's not, and that's sad. But I love this deck. The backs are nice, very standard. I love it's a bold deck, right? And it's old. I'll put the date of the deck below because it's slipped my mind right now, but it's old. It's like right around the time of the Visconti Sforza. We don't have an actual deck extant. What we have are end papers with the images on them, from what I recall. Yep, they're all printed out on sheets, and they were all combined. We were able to piece them together. It's a wonderful deck. And again, simple, bold. You can imagine this kind of deck being very quickly reproduced for, like the hand-painted decks of the Visconti Sforza and that ilk were expensive for the very wealthy. You could see that this kind of card could be purchased probably by middle class or maybe even just below middle class people at the time. The bourgeoisie, right? So it's a wonderful, wonderful deck. And what did you see? You saw from left to right, we had the Queen of Swords, the Devil, the Three of Cups, and the Five of Swords. Interesting spread. Now you might be asking yourself, why are there 4 cards? If you know me, you probably know that it's because I read directionally. Yeah? The original spread of 3, I always lay down 3 cards first. The 3 cards were the Devil, the Three of Cups, and the Five of Swords. So, we had the Devil. And in this deck, the Devil looks like he's looking off to the left. To me. So, my question is, what is he looking at? And so, I pulled the Queen of Swords. And so these two together, she's looking at him, he's looking at her. So this looks like a face-off, but not necessarily an antagonistic face-off, although, well, no, not necessarily an antagonistic face-off. We can also notice a little bit of a similarity, right? The Queen is holding a sword, the Devil is holding a pitchfork. They're both holding one piercing tool. So this could be like the yin-yang aspect of us. It could be the blue, you'll also notice blue and red, right? These could be balancing aspects of self, right? And if so, then we've got the 3 cards which were behind the devil being what he is bringing into the mix, right? So let's start off with the devil. Let's start off with the devil, yeah? So, interesting thing about the devil showing up here and now is that the devil was in the spread that I did earlier. The devil was the advice card for the earlier spread this week. And very interestingly, the devil card from well, I've got it right here. Yeah, it's right here. The devil card from the Tarot of the Spirit, while it does not look like this card, looks very much like a Tarot de Marseille devil to me. Now we got the devil kind of perched up there on the little plinth, and the 2 imps are chained to the plinth, and the devil has what looks like it could be some kind of a torch or something like that in one hand, right? We got the breasts and what you can just barely make out what could be a stylized phallus down there between its their legs. It's a very, very, to me, Tarot de Marseille style devil. Yeah? And you might argue that it's also a little bit Rider-Waite-Smith, but to me, I see Tarot de Marseille. So, it's interesting that in my Tarot de Marseille deck, we got a different kind of devil showing up. And for me, the devil in Tarot de Marseille there are some negative things. Yeah, there's the dark side of the individual. There's the possibility for chaos and attachment and dependency, yeah, in this card as well. But there are all other more positive aspects to the devil in Tarot de Marseille. Things like playfulness, pleasure, enjoying the material world, fantasy, passion. Our sexuality, our creative sexuality is part of the devil card as well. And materialism, which could be negative, but it can also be positive. Yeah? As long as we're not addicted to the material, enjoying the material that's around us can be an aspect of materialism. So we have sexuality here as well. Hidden subconscious powers, both positive and negative, are available through this card. So we have this playful, right? Pleasure, fantasizing aspect of self that is passionate. Might cause a little bit of chaos, might be a little bit dependent or attached or addicted, but sexual, and has subconscious power available, both for the good and for the ill, and we would have the choice of which to choose, the light or the dark, right? And what is this devil carrying forward with him, her, them, it? Yeah? Well, we start off with the 3 of Cups. This is the closest thing, right? The 3 of Cups. Beautiful card. Very different from other Tarot de Marseille cards, right? Yeah? We notice that the 2 of the cups are vertical, one of them is pouring out. So pouring out our emotion for others. 3 of Cups is new friends, community, expressing our emotions. Uninhibited emotional expression, like this 1 cup here, tipped over, pouring itself out. There could be birth in the 3 of Cups, like giving birth, the birth of another being, but it could be also the birth of a first love. It could be a birth of a fresh and inexperienced love for us. It could be the appearance of the other for us as well. Now, the romantic partner. Whether even if we're in a committed relationship now, this does not mean you're going to have an affair necessarily. That appearance of the other could be a reappearance of your partner we're seeing the partner with fresh eyes, or a partner is appearing to us again as that partner once appeared before, right? Fresh appearance of the other. It could be intoxication with love too, yeah? The wine of love is being poured fluidly, is being poured fluently, yes, fluently. And there could be a fervent rediscovery of love as well. But again, could be new friends, could be community as well. Yeah, could also be birth of some new passion project, perhaps, but probably more in the lines of new friends, new community, expressing our emotions. That's what the devil is bringing forward with him, her, them, it. Recognizing that we are all of those things. We're all male, we're all female, we're all non-gender, we're all non-binary, we're all neutered as well, right? We have all aspects within us. And behind the Three of Cups, we have the Five of Swords, which is, by the way, this is a very Terre de Marseille image, no difference whatsoever, except perhaps for floral decorations, right? Five of Swords, thinking outside the box, open-mindedness, curiosity is called for here. So we're bringing that forward into our new friendships, our new communities, our outpouring of our emotional lives, emotional expression. We bring that into our relationship with the newly discovered other. We have new points of view, new ideas, which may be what gives us the possibility of discovering the other, because our mindset has changed. Or we have the potential to perfect our knowledge, to resume an old line of study. But more in the lines, I think, of new ways of viewing the world, or exploration of the world inside as well. Exploration of our inner worlds, which could open us up to express our emotions, to discover new others in our lives, romantic or otherwise. And this new perspective, the new way of thinking, the new points of view, the exploration of our inner worlds transforms our daily life. And it's that transformation which brings us to where are you, baby? The Three of Cups, which is being carried forth by our playful natures, our pleasure-seeking and pleasure-enjoying natures, our passionate natures, the natures within us which fantasize, which have power from within, both, again, positive or negative. So this devil is facing another aspect of self, which is the Queen of Swords. And it's an interesting thing. We had the Princess of Swords, or the Daughter of Wind, as it's called in the Tarot of the Spirit. We had the Princess of Swords in the Thoth reading, right next to the devil. In fact, in this order, it was Princess of Swords and the devil. Here we have the Queen of Swords and the devil. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. So, the Queen of Swords is, what is she bringing into this mix? Knowing that we are all she's, right? Does not matter what our body shape is, whether we are male-bodied, female-bodied, intersex-bodied, trans-bodied, cis-bodied, whatever. Whatever we are all she's, we're all he's, we are all thems, we are all its, you might even say. So, the Queen of Swords, she brings complexity, perspective, clear-mindedness. All helpful attributes to have, along with the playful, pleasure-seeking, fantastical devil, right? She's got the powerful intellect of useful and effective ideas. And she's open to new ideas, which we got, again, from the Five of Swords. We got that echoed in the Queen of Swords. Now, one problematic aspect is she can be stubborn. She can stubbornly defend her ideas, which can be positive, unless she becomes defensive and aggressively and negatively defensive, right? Stand up for her. If we stand up for our ideas, we stand up for our truth, stand up for what we know is right, great. If we get defensive and destructive if we move in the direction of defensiveness and destructiveness, that's problematic. So we say what we want to say. We know our truth. We own our truth. We know our truth is valid. We know our perspective and our ideas are valid. And we're willing to be playful, passionate, sexual, as we have opened up to a new community, which was available to us because our minds have cracked open, not cracked open like breakdown or disruption, but cracked open as in liberated. Our minds have been liberated, which have given us the possibility of new friends, new love, new community, discovering the other. And it could be sexual, it could be romantic, certainly. But we bring clarity to this as well, with the Queen of Swords, as well as the Five of Swords. Very, very interesting. So we've got 3 cards for perhaps advice from below with the Oracle deck. Let's take a look at those right now. Here they are. So last week's Tarot de Marseille spread, the 3 cards from the bottom, from the Oracle deck last week, were problematic. Yeah, they showed difficulties. Potential breakthrough from those difficulties, but difficulties. This week we've got very positive looking cards. Yeah, we started off with the Comet, which we had last week. Yeah, the Comet was last week as well. We have then the Scroll and then the Owl. So we're going to start with the Comet. Beautiful card. Yeah. The side title is Nouvelle, which is news. And the star above is the combination of flesh and spirit. That's like the Star of David a little bit. Yeah. Which is the combination of yin yang. It's the active and receptive. It's the hot and the cold, right? The up-pointing spirit, the fire and the water. The male and the female even. But the Star of David, this 6-pointed star, is divided into 12 sections, which remind us of the 12 months of the year, the 12 zodiacal signs, right? So we've got cycles here as well. And also completion. And the dove is a symbol of purity and simplicity. Yeah, so we're combining elements. We've got the fullness of the year, we've got cycles, and we've got purity and simplicity, all wonderful things. And the planet here is Mercury, which is quick, right? A messenger, a communicator, a thinker, a learner. And so this card points to messages, phone calls, and letters. It could be an unexpected visitor or some kind of surprise, which would be interesting. Like the comet coming into our realm, an unexpected visit or an unexpected surprise appearing in our landscape. The secondary astrology for this card is the moon. So we have periodic changes and renewal. Hidden knowledge or knowledge from the gods is available to us with the moon and Mercury together. Yeah, the hiddenness of the moon is revealed, Mercury being the communicator. So changes, renewal, all possible, which is good. Because the next card is the Scroll, and this card looks a little bit what? A little bit suspect, a little bit Halloween-like with the skull there and the hourglass and the scroll. The side title is Héritage, which is inheritance. The images we see here, the scroll, that's a symbol for knowledge and esoteric information. The skull connects spirit and intellect. So we have knowledge, esoteric knowledge, a connection of spirit and intellect with the scroll, with the skull, and the hourglass, again, well, unsurprisingly, is a symbol for the passage of time, right? So this card is inheritance. From older generations, from the past, things that we received from the past, from those who came before. Legacy, heredity. And that could be the transmission of knowledge, but it could also be cash money. It could also be property. It could also be traditions, like cultural heritage, right? The secondary astrology for this card is the sun, which is the beacon of knowledge and justice. So we have achievements and material means to support the mission that we're on. Right? So we've got news, we have some, maybe through a phone call, through messages, someone could just show up. Something could show up. Yeah? We've got hidden knowledge, and that knowledge here is revealed in the sun. We're the beacon of knowledge and justice. We're getting that knowledge from our traditions. We're getting that knowledge from those who have come before us. We're getting achievements and the material means to support what we want to do as well. Because Jupiter is the planet of expansion and of good fortune and of luck even. And we got yet another Jupiter card right after that. We got a lot of Jupiter along with Mercury here. And Mercury and Jupiter are paired planets the way that I have organized the visible lights, the 7 visible lights, from classical, antique astrology. Those 7 lights being the Sun, the Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Saturn, Jupiter, Saturn, right? So Mercury and Jupiter are paired. Mars and Venus are paired. The Sun and the Moon are paired, but they're also paired with Saturn, right? So here, Mercury and Jupiter being all around this place, they're all nice. And interestingly, the secondary astrological planet, light, for this card is also the moon. So we've got the moon doubly emphasized in this spread. We have the moon with Mercury in the first card, and here we have the moon with Jupiter in the third card. And the owl, this side title is Sagesse, which is wisdom, sage, sagesse. So the owl is the bird of the moon, right? So we are the seers and the gift of sight. The colors are purity of the mind. Now the gold above is purity of the mind. So we are the bird of the moon. We have wisdom. We are the seers, and we are the gift of. We have the gift of sight. Occult knowledge. Knowledge as legacy. Inheritance of tradition. All of that. So here, wisdom and reason find the right path. We make the right choices. It asks for careful thinking and reflection, but we can make the right choices. We can find the right path for us. Queen of Swords, the devil, right? And the moon here brings in the unconscious and allows Jupiter to make the best decisions with reason and intuition. So the moon brings intuition into the mix, right? So we use our intuition and reason, the Queen of Swords and the Devil, to make the right choices, to move in the direction that is the most beneficial. And our choices produce growth and life experience. All very beneficial cards, right? And that's the advice. I think more than advice, it's the potential that we have. Not do this, but if we allow ourselves, we can have this experience of what? Of receiving messages, visitors, recognizing that we're going through changes and that hidden knowledge is available to us from the divine, but also from tradition as brought through with the scroll, right? From older generations, from our traditions, from the past, our heredity. And we can achieve, we have the material means to support the journey that we want to be on. And we have the wisdom from the owl, right? Which we are finding the right path. We are making the right choices. We want to be clear. We want to think clearly. We want to reflect. But we have information from our unconscious and our rational minds, which will guide us. And the choices will produce growth and life experience. How good can that be? What do you think, friends? Does that make sense? If it does, let me know in the comments below. If it does not, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. How would you read this spread? Let me know. And friends, if you want a reading from me, my email address is below, as usual. thehangedmaninthemoon@gmail.com. Shoot me an email, we'll get you a reading. I like doing that for you. If you want to just leave a comment and ask for a reading here on the YouTube channel, we'll find a way to connect on a different platform. That's okay, we can do that too. Also, thank you for hitting the thumbs up button and subscribing, because not only is that a benefit for you, but it is a benefit for those who have not seen this channel yet, and it helps bring the channel into the view of people who have not seen it yet. So thank you for doing that, for helping other people. And friends, now, as always, I wish you love, joy, well-being, and pure awareness. Thank you.